I'd like to thank again the Seton Healthcare family and allowing me to be here at TEDMed Live in Austin. And I want to open it up to you and perhaps get a sense from you on how patients and doctors might feel about a product like this. So the question is, given a product, a 1-hour antibiotic susceptibility test, how much money, has it been quantified? How much money can we save the system? So we know when when the NIH did the study that 10% of the time the patient comes back for a second course of antibiotics. So you could deduce that you could save at least 10%, and now today 30%. This is a $257 billion industry. So you're looking at saving 10 to 30% of that. And that doesn't include, as John was alluding to, times when patients go on to have antibiotic resistant bacteria and have kidney failure or become required to be put on dialysis and all the expenses that go along with that.
Yeah, that's right. And it has been shown, there are several studies showing that when you restrict antibiotic choice to what really is going to work, even without the use of a device such as this, that the antibiotic susceptibilities improve overall. And that was demonstrated very excellently by this antibiotic stewardship program here at Seton, where not only did the rate of C. diff go down, but overall our susceptibilities, even for unrelated infections, started to improve. And it has to do with how bacteria share, bacteria share a resistance and how communities work in close contact. So it has the potential of a lot of direct cost savings and a lot of indirect cost savings.
Well, so the kit is about this size, and it fits into a slot in the laptop size reader. And it is disposed today. If you take all the codes of the tests that we perform and stack them, payers are reimbursing $115 for each disposable, and we think we can bring that price down. But until we have, our reimbursement approved, I can only point to what is being paid today for that same set of tests. Oh, that's a good question. So the way this is used is, let's take urine again. So the healthcare worker has a syringe, and they aspirate the urine out of the sample cup and attach filters that we provide them and express the urine through the filters, capturing the bacteria. We have a special solution that you then back flush the bacteria into our kit. At that point, you're done with any prep. And we handle the fact that we evenly distribute the sample. We have antibiotics. We're using real antibiotics that manufacturers have provided, and we are watching in real time what that very specific antibiotic does on the patient's bacteria. And if it is a multi-resistant bacteria, such as MRSA, the result turns back. It is aware that the antibiotics aren't working and returns a not susceptible result for the. So even if you have bacteria that are evolving, that isn't being studied in the universities or other systems, it would catch the fact that you have a resistant bacteria. And so only those antibiotics that are working in real time are reported as providing an effective treatment.
And you can choose, correct me if I'm
That's
wrong.
That's right.
I do research for this company. I just in the interest of disclosure, I do research for this company doing the study, but I don't have a stake in the company. or ownership. But you can also you can customize and put whatever antibiotic you want. So if the infectious disease specialist or the antibiotic stewardship committee says, can you please test for these drugs, you can just pop that in. Right?
That's
It's
correct.
modular.
We're providing different carousels with different models so that you might have a different model for the emergency room because these guys are coming in with urosepsis, so there's a different, maybe 6 antibiotics that you will want to test. Over time, we'll be able to test more and more, but 6 seem like a good, healthy start for us, and it covers about 90% of all of the infections that you would find in a UTI. So the question is, does this integrate into the computing system? Does it integrate into a lab information system? And how does how are the results actually delivered to the doctor? So this product, at the end of its diagnostic 1 hour, it alerts the healthcare worker and the doctor, if that was indicated when the diagnostic was set up, with a short text message that is secured. And what it says is, your patient's diagnostic is ready, and the doctor then, with the app on his phone, logs into a cloud application that we have that would show him the results. So a doctor could be wandering around the hospital doing rounds, would get this message, or perhaps he has the message sent to his nurse. Anyhow, the message can arrive on his phone. There is also a phone app that allows doctors to e-prescribe the antibiotic, and have in rural health, have it delivered to the patient. But anyhow, there is an alert that comes in through the phone and a phone app that addresses the results out in a cloud.
I'm a research nerd, so yes, the answer is definitely yes. We'll capture all the data we can.
De-identified data is stored up in the cloud with the results, and we can map trends. And if antibiotic is being particularly useful in an area of the country, that trend will show up. So all of that is possible for us to do. Right now, though, we have the cloud app working, but we are focused on getting the diagnostic in people's hands, and then the demographics and all the second follow-on apps will be a follow-on to our initial release of the product.
Yeah, that's right. I'll just piggyback on that a little bit. I don't know how many here remember Sanford, the little book that we carried in residency back in the 90s. It only had national susceptibilities, and by the time it arrived in our pockets, although we used it dutifully, it was a dead letter. Susceptibilities vary not only over time, not only in geography, but over time. So the same susceptibility may be different in Austin from now to 6 months from now. So the ability to get more information out there instead of a little pamphlet that comes out once a year is incredibly important for antibiotic management. And that's one of the really neat niches about this device.
Okay, so I guess the first question would be, when are we going into alpha, which is later this year? And that's a preclinical trial. And then there is a long process where you do validation on your manufactured product. But once we get into FDA, there's some capriciousness about that, and I respect them, that there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of diagnostics they have to deal with. But so we think it'll be 9 months in FDA after we collect our data. So we still, we think that there's a long road ahead of us still, that we won't see the product in the market until 2016. Again, thank you, Dr. Bedolla, for being up here and helping me do this talk.
You're welcome.
Thank you.